Hello and welcome to a new video. This one we're going to have more in-depth look at character creation using the 2024 Player's Handbook. This article or this video will coincide with an update to the Wiki to accommodate all the changes for the 2024 version of the 5e rule set. Let's just get started then. So the first thing we want to do is make sure we have got the relevant modules loaded. So we just go to modules activation and then we can just type in a handbook here. And we can see here that we've got the two versions of the handbook now, the D&D Player's Handbook, which is the Legacy Handbook, and then we've got the new one, which is the Dungeons and Dragons Player's Handbook. So we're going to load that, and then we don't need this, we can close all that down. Then we need to go to our characters and click on the Add Item button here, and we'll get a new blank character sheet. We can have a quick look around and we'll see everything here. All the ability scores are at 10. There's nothing here. There's nothing in saves. And if we briefly look at all the other tabs, they're all just empty because we have done nothing as yet. So the main things we want for the character here, or we need to have to create this character, is a class, background, species. We need items, and we're probably going to need spells as well, since we're going to make a dwarven cleric in order to mirror the wiki article that this video is going to accompany. So let's open up our backgrounds, our classes, and our species first of all. As I say, we'll need items and we'll need spells later on, but we'll leave those for the moment. Now the PHB, I can't remember, I think it starts with class and goes on, but I think because of the way Fantasy Grounds adds in bonuses to abilities, etc., when you drag in certain things, it's easier actually to start with the abilities when you're creating a character in Fantasy Grounds rather than in the paper and pen version. So we're just going to use the standard array here. And since we're making a cleric, we're not going to give the wisdom the highest score, but we'll give it a 14 for reasons that will become apparent later on. We'll make the con the highest score, so we'll give that the 15. We'll give the dexterity 13, the strength can get the 12, and the, I think, what did I decide? Yes, intelligence can be the 11, and charisma can be 8. So that now that we've input these ability scores here, we can see that there's these little ability score modifiers box below that, showing that like strength is a +1, dexterity is a +1, etc. And these numbers have filled in to the various other parts of the character sheet, which gives us these bonuses. So our armor class, for example, has gone up to 11 because we've got our dexterity is at +1. Our initiative has gone to +1 for the same reason. We can see that our saving throws have been added in, or the bonuses for the ability score modifiers have been added in here, and if we have a brief look at skills, we can see there's a bunch of numbers has gone in there as well related to the skills which depend on these ability scores here. So all of that's been automatically added into Fantasy Grounds for you. So let's now add in our species, which in the Legacy 5e rule set is races, and we've got species on the character sheet here, so we're now looking at species rather than a race, and we're going to choose dwarf. If we go to our species list here, if we click on the link icon here, we can open up the dwarf description. We can read through that. We go to the other tab here and we'll get a summary of all the things that we're going to get when we select this as our species. So we're just going to grab this link icon for the dwarf, and we're going to drag it and drop it into the species. We've got a choice here that tells us that we can select 2 languages from the list below. Now everybody starts off with common, every character starts off with common, but we have 2 extra languages that we can pick in addition to that. So let's just select Dwarvish and Giant. And once we have done that, we get the OK button. We can change this at this stage if we want by unclicking it and then deciding that we're going to have Gnomish instead. Once you made your choice, you click on the OK button and the dialog goes away. And in chat, you can see that a bunch of stuff has been added into the character sheet. If we have a look here, our speed has been added in. We've now got dark vision under our senses. If we have a look at the abilities tab, we see that we've got some traits here, dwarven resistance, toughness, stone cunning, and our languages have been added in here as well. If we wanted to find out a bit more of what dwarven resilience is, we've got a link icon here which we can click on, and this will open up telling us what we have with regard to this a particular trait. And in this case, if we have a look at the Actions tab, we can also see that Dwarven Resilience has been added in here. Again, there's a link icon. If we click on this little cog icon, it'll open this up and tell us the effect that has been added in. So we've got resistance to poison, and we've got advantage to saving throws V poisoned, and the Stone Cunning has added in our 2 uses and everything like that. So that's all been added into the Actions tab automatically. So if we go back to our main tab, we can dismiss the dwarf now. And we can now add in our background. So we're going to choose Acolyte here from the list of backgrounds. If we open this up, this gives us a little summary of what we are going to see here. So our ability scores are Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma. We will get a choice as to what ability scores or what amounts we add to these. We also get a feat. We've got some skill proficiencies automatically. We've got a tool proficiency. We've got some equipment, and if we go to the other tab, it'll give you a summary of that as well. If we wanted to find out what the Magic Initiate feat is, if we click on the feats icon here and sort of filter this out, if we go to this category here and filter this to Origin, we will find the Magic Initiate feat here for the Cleric. And again, we can click on this and open it up, and we find we get 2 cantrips. We've got a choice of what ability score we're going to use for these spells. We also get a single first level spell as well. So now that we know all that, let's drag in our Acolyte and drop it into the background. And the first thing we have to do is decide whether we're going to increase one ability by 2 and another by 1, or increase 3 abilities by 1. And it tells you up here which abilities that we have available. So only those 3 abilities will be available for the +2 and the +1. And if we choose the latter here, increase 3 abilities by +1, then our Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma will all go up automatically by +1. We want to choose this one here, and once we have selected that and clicked OK, it'll ask us which ability we actually want to increase by 2. So we're obviously going to take Wisdom, since that's the main stat. Again, we're going to click OK, and then it's going to ask us which of the other ability scores that we have available are we going to give the +1 to. So we'll take Intelligence in this case so that we don't have too many odd stats in our character, and we're going to click OK to that as well. And if we just sort of move this slightly to the side, you can see that the abilities here have been updated. Our Wisdom has gone up to 16, our Intelligence has gone up to 12. And any related stats like the saving throws and skills, etc., will all have gone up in line with the changes that we have made for that. So this is our feat, and it's asking us what spellcasting ability are we going to want to use for this Magic Initiate feat. So again, we're going to take Wisdom, since that's obviously going to be more beneficial than any other. We're going to click OK, and then it's going to give us the choice here of asking, or it's going to ask us to select 2 cantrips from the list. So let's just select Guidance, and let's say Toll the Dead. We're going to click OK, and now it wants us to pick one spell, one first level spell. So let's just pick Bless and click OK. So a lot of things happened here. As I said, the ability scores have changed, so therefore the saving throws have changed. If we go over to our skills tab, we see that a lot more numbers are now in here. And also we see that religion and insight are now proficient. If we mouse over this, we see that this little yellow star here indicates that we are now proficient with these skills, which are the two skills that we got from our Acolyte background. If we have a look at abilities, we see that our proficiencies have gone in. We are now proficient with calligrapher's supplies. That's been added in here. And we can also see that our magic initiate feat has been added in. And again, the link tab here can be clicked on to open that up to tell you all about what that is. None of the equipment has been added in, but we'll come to that in due course. So we've now added in our species and background. So the only thing that remains now is to add in our class. So we can close this one and let's open up the cleric class again by just clicking on the link icon here, and we'll get a summary of what we're going to get from our core cleric traits. So it's telling us what our primary attribute is. It's telling us how much hit dice we have, our saving throw proficiencies, which skills that we have, weapon proficiencies, armor training, some more starting equipment, and then if we look on the features tab here, we can see that in first level we're going to get divine order and spell casting. If we have a look at the other tab, this summarizes the things that we're going to get in terms of proficiencies, starting equipment, etc. So let's just drag in our cleric from the classes, drop that into the class and level, and the first thing we've got to do is choose two proficiencies from the list that we can have here. So if we go to our skill tab, we see we're proficient already in religion and insight. None of these are duplicated here, so we can pick whichever ones we want. So let's take history and persuasion just for fun, and we're going to click OK. We now have a choice as to what class feature that we have. We've got the Divine Order Protector or Divine Order Thaumaturge. If we go to the features here and open up Divine Order, we can see that this is a choice that we get. And again, we've got link icons here, which will open up this and tell us exactly what we want. So we can either have martial proficiency with martial weapons and heavy armor, or we can take the thaumaturge, which means we get an extra cantrip, and we've got a mystical connection, which allows us to use intelligence for either arcana or religion checks. So we're going to make a choice here. So let's just choose the divine order here for fun, and we'll click on that, and it's now saying choose another spell that we have. If we have a wee look at our actions tab now, we see that our magic initiate has already gone in here with bless, guidance, and toll the dead, so we don't want to duplicate that. So let's take a different one. Let's take a sacred flame for this one, and we'll click OK, and that is automatically gone into our actions tab. Just staying on the actions tab, we see that our divine order has gone in there, and again there's a link that tells us to takes us to a window that tells us exactly what all of that is. As I say, our spells have been added, and if we nick back to our main tab, our cleric has gone in here. We've got this little cog icon here. If we click on that, this will give us a summary of what our class is, what our XP to our next level is. We can add that in if we want. I think it's still 300, but we'll put that in. And it shows us what our level is, what our caster status is. We're a full caster, so it's 1x. It shows us what our hit dice is. We've no subclass yet. And of course, there's a link here which will allow us to open up this cleric here. Also, our hit points have been added in. So we got a D8 plus our constitution modifier, so we get the maximum amount of, oh no, must be a, oh yes, we've got dwarven toughness. That's where the other point is coming from. Yes, so we got a D8, so we get the maximum 8 points plus the 2 for our constitution, and of course our dwarven toughness ability here, which doesn't appear here, but in the abilities, if we have a look at that, we can see that the dwarven toughness increases our maximum hit points by 1. So that's all added in, giving us a total of 11 hit points. Okay, so that is the main part of the character completed. We now want to have a look at equipment. So if we just have a look again at our background, if we open up Acolyte, we can see that we have got some equipment here. If we go to this, it might be clearer. We can choose either A, which is calligrapher supplies, prayer book, holy symbol, 10 parchments, a robe, and 8 gold pieces, or we can just simply take 50 gold pieces. So let's say in this case we just decide that we're going to take the 50 gold pieces. If we go to our inventory tab, in the treasure section here we can see that we've got various boxes for coins. So we're just going to add the 50 into there for our gold pieces, and that's our equipment for our acolyte done. If we open up our cleric class, we can see here in the starting equipment that we've got another choice, A or B. The B is another 110 gold pieces, or we can select a chain shirt, shield, mace, holy symbol, priest pack, and 7 gold pieces. So let's choose A in this case. So we get another 7 gold pieces first of all. So while in this screen we'll just add in that 7, so we'll make that 57. And then we need our item. So let's shove this over here. Open up items and we'll bring this over here. So we can have a look down here. We're looking for a chain shirt. So let's go to armor. This brings up our armor list. Find chain shirt on the list here, medium armor, and just drag that into the equipment tab. We can see that it automatically adds it in here, and it also automatically equips it. If we mouse over this little icon here, it shows that it's equipped. If we switch over to our main tab, we see our armor class has now gone to 14. Click on this little cog icon, it'll show us exactly how that's made up. We've got our base armor class of 10. We've got adding in 3 for our chain shirt, because the chain shirt has got an AC of 13, so it's adding in 3 for that. It's telling us that our dexterity modifier is limited to a maximum of 2. Our dexterity modifier is just 1, so 10 plus 3 plus the 1 is giving us 14. So the armor class is automatically calculated when we add that in. Back to our inventory then, we don't need armor anymore. Oh no, we do, because we also have a shield. So let's drag in our shield. That also automatically gets equipped, and if we switch back to the main tab, we see our AC is now 16. And again, if we have a look at this, we can see that we've now got the 2 points of extra armor class for our shield. So that's all being added in for you as long as these items are equipped. Back to our inventory then, and we now have a weapon. We've got a mace, so we don't need armor anymore. Let's click on weapons here. We'll find mace in the simple weapons. And again, we're just going to drag this into the equipment section. Again, it automatically gets equipped. If we go to our actions tab, we can see that our mace has been added into our weapons, and it's correctly added in our bonus to attack and our damage, which is of course based on our strength. Since our strength is poor, we've got a poor hit to hit chance. We don't have much damage bonus either. So that's that. Let's go back to inventory, and we now want a holy symbol. So let's just go down to the box here and type in holy symbol. If we open this up, it it just tells us what that is, and it's a venturing gear, and what it is. Now, there's actually various different holy symbols. So I think one of them is an emblem. No, it's not. Yes, it is, because I believe we misspelled that. So if we try that again, here we go. We've got an emblem. So this emblem can be attached to our shield, and that can be our holy symbol. So we see here, we drag that in, and it's showing as a carriage, which would be correct. We then get a priest's pack. So again, we're just going to search for that, and we get our priest pack. If we open this up, we can see that the priest pack actually includes a whole bunch of stuff, which is listed here. And when we drag this in, then all that stuff is also going to get added into our character sheet. So we got some holy water, a lamp, some rations, a robe, tinderbox, as well as a backpack and a blanket. So all of that is automatically added into our character sheet. And that's it. We've already added in the 7 gold pieces, and so we've equipped our character. So the only thing left now is to give our character her spells. So we can actually shut all this down. We don't really need any of this anymore, and we'll open up our spells dialog. We can come down to, well, we actually do need the class because we need to figure out how many spells that we get. So if we scroll down here to our, well, actually easier to get it from here. If we get our spell casting ability, and it tells us here we know 3 cantrips of our choice. So in the spells here, if we select the top drop down here and select 0, and then the source here, if we select cleric, and this will show us all the cleric cantrips that we have available. We've already got the Sacred Flame. And we also have Guidance and Toll the Dead, so we don't want to repeat these, so we'll have 3 different ones. So we're going to select Light, and we're going to drag this, and we're going to drop it onto the Spells Cleric Cantrips header. We don't want to put it into the Magic Initiate, because that's a separate power group, so we want to put it in here, and it will automatically add that into these cantrips. We may as well have Spare the Dying, and we'll have, do we already have, no, we don't have Thaumaturgy, so we'll have that as well. So we drag and drop these into, it's important that you do this, because if you drag it into this, then it'll go into the Magic Initiate one, and that would be incorrect, because this, you could have chosen a different ability score for these spells. This could be a fighter, of course, or some other kind of class that's taken this feat. So we don't want to put them in there, because this could have a different ability score for the saving throws, etc., for this group of spells. So we want it in this main one here. And moving on, then we also can prepare a list of spells from the level 1 spell list. We can choose 4. So let's now switch this to level 1 spells, and we'll get a list of our level 1 spells available. Have a look, we've already got Bless and from the Magic Initiate, so we don't want to take that again. So let's just take Command, and again we're going to drop it into this one here, and you can see that it's created another power group for the first level spells for our cleric. Let's drag in Detect Magic, Detect Poison and Disease for fun, and I don't know, Guiding Bolt. And there's our 4 spells that we have added into our cleric here. If we have a look here, we can see there's no symbols down the left-hand side here, and if we change to combat mode, we see that we don't actually have any spells, so we need to actually prepare them. So if we click on the mode here till we get to preparation, and we can see then we've got little tick boxes next to the level 1 spells. So we just tick all of these to make sure that we have prepared them, and when we go back to combat we have our spells available. And if we scroll up here we can see that we've got our 2 spell slots have been added in automatically. So that's mainly it. We can now just finish off our character. We can give the character a name, something I always struggle with. So let's just call him Bob the Cleric for fun. And we can also give the character a portrait. So if we click on this blank box here now, if you're a player, then you will not have the ability to add in tokens, either flat or camera, and the portraits that you have will be limited to whatever portraits you have available. This is a DM screen, so I've got everything that I have available. So this is going to be different depending on whether you're a DM or the player. But the DM can always give you tokens for the flat token and the camera token. Players may be able to give themselves a portrait depending on what resources you have. But in all cases, we just simply add item, and this is going to open up, in this case, the portraits folder, and you just scroll down and pick what portrait you want. So let's pick this one for fun. And you notice that when we put a portrait in, it automatically gives us this token here. We can change the token again if you're the DM. You can change this token to, if we go to our assets and look at tokens, if we just search for, in this case, Dwarf Cleric, then we find whatever tokens we have as a Dwarf Cleric. So let's just drag one of these in, and again for the token camera we can either click on this add item box, which will open this up, and again we can just search for whatever we want here. We'll get various options, whatever, and just drag that into the token camera. And so the DM will be able to give the character the tokens. The player may be able to give themselves a portrait depending on what assets they have available, but the DM can always add all of these in. Okay, so this video is a bit longer than I would like, really, but that is it. An in-depth look at character creation. We'll have a look at the character wizard in another video, but this is how you would create a character in Fantasy Grounds VTT using the manual drag and drop process. So thanks for watching. Hope you found it useful, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.